the harbinger of death. The mere sight of this Pokemon will send people into a frenzy, into a panic, as it usually means disaster, tragedy, and even death follows. Does that mean this Pokemon is the embodiment of darkness? What mysteries surround this Pokemon, and is it really deserving of that title? Join me as we explore the Pokemon Absol. Now, Absol tend to live solitary lives deep into the mountains, so deep in Mount Coronet in the Sinnoh region, or deep in the giant chasm in the Unova region, away from civilization, rarely venturing out from its alpine home. The reason this Pokemon tends to stay away from people, tends to stay away from civilization, is because people are awful. No, I kid. But seriously, people are awful. Now let me explain. Absol tend to be long-lived Pokemon. It's said that they can live for a century, near 100 years, or maybe a little bit over. That, coupled with their horn, which are said to have mystical powers, mystical abilities. Now this means the horns are really sensitive to minute changes in the weather, so in atmospheric pressure, in the land, in the water, and with this sensitivity, they're actually very, very capable of detecting when natural disasters, earthquakes, storms, blizzards will occur. Now with this knowledge, and with Absol being naturally just good-natured, wanting to protect people, it will now rush towards civilization. And it's said that in old times, that Absol would try to rush towards civilization, towards the town folk, and try to warn them that these disasters are coming. Now, Absol lacks the ability to speak human language. It doesn't have that telepathic ability like Lugia or Mewtwo to talk to humans, even though it is intelligent. So as a result, it will just maybe bark. Now, I don't know what sound Absol makes, but it'll just start like barking, making the Absol noises toward these humans. And what would happen is that Absol will rush in, it'll start barking, and then disaster strikes. And the townsfolk would put this together, and they would start to believe that Absol is the one responsible for these disasters. And that's what led to the title, the Harbinger of Death, the bringer of disasters. When in actuality, it's just trying to help. It's trying to save these people. It's trying to plead with these people to find safety. Now, since this belief is so ingrained in popular culture, most people still view Absol in that light as the bringer of doom. However, more and more people are starting to realize and understand that Absol was just trying to help and not hurt. Now, if you want some additional facts, there's some really cool things that happen in the games that sort of reinforce and support the description that that Absol shows up before disasters. So in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Absol appears on Route 213, and that's really close to Lake Valor, which was eventually drained by Team Galactic. If you remember, I think there was like Magikarp or something flopping around. Now in Pokemon Platinum, Absol appear near Mount Coronet, and this is one of the places that you can first access where Giratina is released by Team Galactic, and Giratina is known as the Distortion Pokemon. Now in Pokemon Black and White, Absol can be found near the Giant Chasm. Oh, and this is just known as a place where disasters tend to befall trainers. It can also be found on Route 13, and now Route 13 is also known as 13 itself, I should say, is known as an unlucky number. And also, if we look back to the Giant Chasm, 2 years later in the game, that's where Team Plasma makes their stand. Now, in Pokemon Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Absol is found near the Tapu Village, which was eventually it was destroyed by Tapu Bulu. And then in the Pokemon Ranger series game, so it's Pokemon Ranger Shadows of Almia, Absol can be found in the Altru building, the Altru Tower. And this is where Team Dimsun plans to take control of all Pokemon in the region. Yes, that is a real game. And that is the real team name. Team Dim Sun. Okay. While having a fairly impressive attack stat, Absol does, and a pretty intimidating appearance. Let's be honest. If you look at Absol, that's pretty menacing. The horns and just its look, it's pretty intimidating. Absol are actually more inclined to be gentle, peaceful, calm, and they want to protect and show concern towards other people and other Pokemon. Hence why they try to warn them if natural disasters are coming. Its snowy white fur is actually very soft to the touch, as well as its horn. If you were to touch the horn, it's described to be soft to the touch, particularly when it is calm and relaxed, and it only becomes hard when it's tense or excited. Absol does have the ability to Mega Evolve with newfound power surging through every part of its body. Its fur starts to stand up slightly. The tufts on its chest and its neck kind of flare up backwards and outwards, giving the appearance of like wings, even though it's not capable of flight. Don't mistake them for having the ability to fly. They can also protect themselves with these mysterious cloaks of energy from the Mega Evolution for brief periods of time, and it can reflect attacks from the opponent, which is really awesome. Now, Mega Absol will always put the lives of their trainers over their own. Like I said, they have a very protective nature. That doesn't mean they're violent, but they want to make sure that their trainers are safe. And what they can do is by beating this wing, so to speak, they can send waves of dark aura or dark pulse at their foes and strike them with fear. So their fear strikes their heart, and that aura, that fear can even cause Pokemon with weaker resolves to faint. And get this, the aura can be so fearsome at times that it has been known to kill faint-hearted people. Now, do these people have pre-existing medical conditions? I don't know, but that's pretty terrifying. Now, because Absol normally dislike combat, some say, and it is widely believed, that Mega Absol despise their transformations because it typically means that conflict is necessary. The origins of Absol are most likely based on the Bai Zi, and that is from Chinese mythology. The name can literally translate to white marsh, and they are generally described as a white beast, kind of like Absol, right? And they can be distinguished. They also have horns on their head, and they are considered to be incredibly intelligent. They can speak the human language. They also have knowledge of over 11,000 supernatural creatures, including the habits. That's crazy. And in legend, the Bai Zi was said to have shared its knowledge with the Yellow Emperor, which was then all compiled into a book called the Bai Zi 2. In Japan, it can be known as the Hakutaku, and that's said to resemble a cat, a lion, something like that. Similar legends state that it is known as the Kutabi. And the Kutabi also have the ability to predict a disaster. I believe it was said that it predicted a plague that swept through the Toyama prefecture of Japan. And these Kutabi also have an extra eye on head or back, and that can be, I guess, equivalent to Absol's oval here, right in the middle of its forehead. Absol's head is modeled after the taijutsu symbol, and then the humanized face, coupled with the more feline features, feline characteristics, pay homage to the Sphinx. The ruff and neck fur and that long fur and mane, also indicative of the Egyptian Sphinx. Now the tail, which is very scythe-like, and then the horn, which is also very scythe-like, if you've ever seen a scythe before, that suggests a resemblance to a Western personification of death. If we think of the Grim Reaper, maybe. And if I go back to Absol's feline characteristics and then the dark color that it has, that can be based on the superstition of a black cat, which we all know that if you cross paths with a black cat, that's said to bring you bad luck. It also has ties to, if we think of big cats, like a cougar or a jaguar. And we can also see in its face that it can resemble the yin and yang symbol. And that could signify the contrast between the dark reputation, meaning, you know, it's this bringer of destruction, and then its desire to help, right? And to care for and protect people, this light and this dark. The face can also vaguely resemble the what's called the Wu Wei, I believe it said, but the Wu Wei characters. And the Wu Wei, that it is Chinese. In Chinese, it means like non-doing or doing nothing. And it is a central text of Taoism. And I know that sounds weird, but really what it means, it means, if I put this in quotes, it means the way never acts, yet nothing is left undone. And that's the paradox of Wu Wei. Now, this doesn't mean that we are doing nothing. It actually means effortless effort, actionless action. Now, what does that mean? It means that when we are confronted with stresses in life, that we go about completing and addressing these stresses from a state of peace, from a calm state. And that helps us maximize our skill and our efficiency. That's pretty cool. Now, Mega Absol and the wings that it has and the elongated hair kind of gives us the appearance of an angel. And the wings are also reminiscent of again, like a sphinx, maybe a Greek portrayal of a sphinx, furthering that connection. And they can also resemble what we call a Lamassu. The Lamassu is an Assyrian creature that has a human head, and then it also has wings. And then sometimes it could have like a body of a lion. And the Lamassu was a protective spirit, much like Absol, and how Absol has this drive to warn people of danger and protect them. The etymology of Absol and the name can mean a variety of different things. So it can pull from, let's say, the absence of soul or sunlight. And that can refer to like a solar eclipse, which is typically associated with like a natural disaster. That could also explain why Absol is a dark type. So is Mega Absol. Please don't get that confused. Mega Absol is not a fairy type or any combination. Mega Absol is a pure dark type Pokemon. But it also can explain why Absol is a nocturnal Pokemon. And in Absol, if we take the Latin prefix for ab, meaning away from, and then sol, which is sun, that's where you get that. Away from sun. There is no sunlight. That's like that's the solar eclipse. Now, another possible etymology would be the word absolve. And that could be something like Absol is absolved from the guilt that it might have because it warned people of these natural disasters coming. It could also mean absolution, and then it could also mean absolute, meaning or relating to the accuracy of its predictions of natural disasters or disasters. And that is Absol, including Mega Absol. Please let me know down below if you learned anything new and if you enjoyed this video. Also, let me know which Pokemon you'd like me to do next. Right now, I've completed all the requests that I've gotten thus far. So if you want more of a specific Pokemon, again, let me know down in the comments. Hit that like button. Also, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Check out some of our other Pokemon origin and lore videos, as well as our opening videos. And I want to thank you all for watching and for all the support. And I'll catch you in the next episode. Peace.